So I've forgotten which end of this tube I made is got the threads on it already. And this is a little whip maker cord. It's harder to do with the camera in front of your face than it is without it. And okay, so I've created a taper. I'll try and screw it on here. And that's the threaded end. The other end hasn't been prepped yet, so you can literally just take a pair of dikes, go down to this end and choose an angle, probably a little less than, more like 30 degrees. Then turn it around the other way and nip it off at 30 degrees the other way. And then you have almost like a nail point. You can take some real fine sandpaper. This is 600 grit. You knock down the pointy bed at the end. That will give you a little piece. Then if you have 275 paracord, you can easily run this needle through, and you don't want any burrs on it. And you can attach 275 paracord to pull it through itself. I'm going to make one more needle that I've got. So I'm going to I believe this is the end I didn't tap. This one. And turn it 90 degrees. Or 180 degrees. And get kind of a reasonable arrow point that's reasonably the same on both sides. I don't have my glasses on, I'm just looking at the cell phone. And you might want a sharp end on it, but for paracord work, you won't want a sharp end on it. And so this is how I go about making a small needle smaller than what is available on the market. It's a little bit smaller than a standard lacing needle, because it's now got a 1 millimeter metric hole that I tapped in it using an M1. So this is an M1 tap. And just to verify, I'm going to stick it back in here and see if it threads in. Yeah, it looks like. I'm just going to clean up the threads. So, but if you need a long length, like a 6-inch needle, and nobody makes one, you can use. This is a metric watchmaker's die. I'm just trying to keep it as straight as I can. So this is called an M1 tap. And this is a pin vise, an inexpensive pin vise. These tap sets are available on Amazon and also on. They're also available on eBay, just as a generic one. I haven't been able to find any locally. Harbor Freight might have them, but I haven't seen them anywhere where I can purchase them. But this is what the tap set looks like. So you have M1 is the smallest, and then it goes to 1.2 or 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, etc. And then to get it out of the pin vise, you unscrew this. And this pin vise has a 4-jaw chuck, which holds the real small tap real well. Anyway, that's a video on how I build paracord needles or leatherworking needles that are longer than what you normally would get. This one is six inches long. And then I can feel little burrs on the backside. I haven't sanded that backside up. Again, this 600 grit wet dry. And you can sand this down. This is 1.588, so almost 1.6. And but it's not quite 1.6. And it's an easier needle to go through the 275 paracord and make looped ends out of 275 paracord. So if you want to take 2 strings or a long string and make a loop in 275 paracord, you need something smaller than a Tandy's regular needle. And this is a scalpel for reference. Anyway, this chuck with pocket snakes with a odd tip on how to make custom needles if you need custom needles for your stuff. I marked it at 6 inches, so this one's 6.5, almost 7 inches. But if you're making crackers, you can use a piece of whipmaker cord. And you can cut it with a pair of scissors at an angle, like so. Let's see if I can get this in one shot, because I might not be able to. Get it hot. Then you roll it to a point. Then you set the point in the 1mm hole, if you can. And sometimes you got to figure it out, because sometimes you might have to remelt it. It may take 2 or 3 tries before you get a point you can screw in. Once you get it on there, you get a full tip. So there's some whipmaker cord. 275 paracord can also be rolled into a taper like that. And if you break it off or injure it, you can trim it off again. This is a whole lot easier to do without looking in the cell phone to try and get it right. And just touch the end of it, give it a couple seconds, and then roll it. I can't tell how big that end is. Yep, that's on there. So there's how to make an internally threaded 16th inch by 7 inch or 6 inch long needle for doing specialty stuff. So Chuck with Pocket Snakes, thank you very much.